Hello guys, and welcome to this Volks Wizard video with a difference. Today I'm in Italy with this Viper Green Audi RS3. Now I've had this car for just over 6 days now and I've really got to know it quite well, and I thought, well, I'm out on these wonderful roads near Merano that I'd do a proper test of it. So here we are. It's a Sunday afternoon now. This road's actually quite quiet. It's called the Gampen Pass. It's a relatively low pass, but it's one that's really enjoyable to drive because it's not full of crazy hairpins and crazy bikers. On this Sunday afternoon, as you can see, it's pretty quiet. And the scenery, in places anyway, is pretty spectacular. That's the valley down to Bolzano, which is just over there. Anyway, enough tourist information. Let's have a look around this Viper Green Audi RS3. Okay, because this was a rental car, I didn't get the usual spec list that you get with a press car, but I do know the wheels are extra, I think, because they're gloss black, diamond turned wheels. They're 19-inch wheels. We've got the wider 255 30/19s on the front. I think it's 235 35/19s on the back. So a good way of getting rid of the understeer these cars are sort of famous for is to have the wider tyres on the front, but we've also got the aluminium block engine in this car, which is a bit lighter. It's a 400 horsepower version, so it's like the Phase 2 Mark II RS3. We've got the black styling pack, which gives you the black mirrors and a black spoiler at the back and a black diffuser. I think to my taste, especially on a colour like this, it's so much nicer than the matte aluminium styling pack. It's great. If you don't like Viper Green, by the way, you can pick any colour from the exclusive range for a few £1,000s, and I'd probably pick some like Riviera Blue for a car like this. It would suit it down to the ground. We've got standard black calipers with non-ceramic brakes, so steel brakes. We've got LED headlights. I'm not sure if they're matrix ones, but they've got dynamic indicators, which I can demonstrate. That's so cool. So it's a slightly wide arch over the standard car, but it's not particularly obvious. I think on these kind of roads you don't really want it to be much wider than it is, to be honest, so I'm quite happy with the way it looks. The back end is quite aggressive. You've got a diffuser there, which looks pretty cool, and you've got these quite big exhaust pipes. Because it's got the sports exhaust, they're finished in black, and there you go, for fans of car throttle, and get your fist in there very easily. Again, we've got dynamic indicators on the back, and you can't say it's not a good looking car in this saloon format. Over here they call it a limousine, and I think in America you guys call it a sedan, but we call it a saloon, which probably means something completely different in America. Okay, we've got virtual key, so that means that it's keyless, which has its pros and cons, I guess. I've lost the key a couple of times already because I'm just used to putting it in the ignition barrel. We've got these super sport seats, which are very comfortable to use, and yeah, they've got manual adjustments. So it's extra cost to have electric adjustment, but we've got electric lumbar, so they're pretty cool. We've got this part Alcantara steering wheel. We've got the virtual cockpit. So let's just get in and show you around. Okay guys, so this is the Mark II RS3. It's got a beautiful interior. Bearing in mind you could buy a Golf R for the same money as an S3. You'd get this interior in the S3, and okay, I know it's not necessarily as dynamically good as the Golf R, but this is such a much nicer place to be than that of the Golf R. But there we go. I don't think I'd make the mistake of paying the same money for a Golf R as an Audi in the future. So what we have then, I'll just put the ignition on. One benefit of being keyless, he says. There we go. We have got this pop-up screen, which is a bit annoying, especially when you're filming, but you can actually get rid of it like that if you want to. But the nav's brilliant. We've also got virtual cockpit. So this is, I mean, once you've used this, it's really hard to not want it in every car you use, to be honest. Especially when you can do this. Look at that. So we've been driving in unfamiliar areas around Munich, around here. This has just always got us out of trouble. It's also got Google Maps as well. And we've also got Apple CarPlay. I can't show you because I can't connect my phone, but it seemed to be standard fit on this. But to be honest, with this navigation, it's not really that essential because it's really good navigation, and you really want to have the two screens. It's really useful. You can zoom in as well. Yeah, this has really helped us, as has the automatic gearbox. We've got 7-speed S-tronic in this car, and it's not the smoothest around town, but when you're on it up these mountain roads, it is superb. It's just nice not to have to worry about changing gear when you can worry about the steering and the braking and all that, because you can't really afford to make a mistake on these roads. Let's see, we've got this lovely carbon fibre down here, and that goes into the doors with a bit of Alcantara there, so it's a very nice place to be, as are most Audi cockpits. Okay guys, let's have a look at drive select then. So we'll press that button, and then if you press this button on the MMI controller down here, it lets you vary 4 things on this car because we haven't got magnetic ride, so we can't adjust the damping, but we can set the gearbox to comfort, so it's a bit softer, dynamics a bit more aggressive, or auto just does it how it feels best. Steering, well, this is always a bone of contention on Audis, and I've driven this car in dynamic thinking it'd be the best solution for it, and it is bloody awful. So I put it into comfort, even that's nicer. Dynamic is really obstructive on these roads. It makes the car feel massive because it's just so unresponsive to, it's just so heavy, so falsely heavy. So I think comfort or auto seems quite good as well, but never dynamic. So it's good that you can actually decouple that from dynamic, because you want dynamic for the 4-wheel drive to make it as rear wheel steering as possible when you're on the throttle, so it drives more to the back. And you also want engine sounding dynamic, so you make the most of that sports exhaust, which, as you probably see from other clips in this video, is worth every single penny on this car. Okay guys, we've had a good look around the interior and the exterior of this Audi RS3. Now let's go and drive it on these wonderful Italian roads. Okay guys, here we are on the Gampen Pass in the Audi RS3 saloon. So we've got 400 horsepower, 4-wheel drive, 7-speed DSG gearbox, and we're having a pretty good time. We've got the sports exhaust as well. This car, as tested, is about £52,000, so when you can get a Golf R up to 40 plus, I think these days, it's not too bad considering what you get. You get that amazing 5-cylinder engine. It's the only 5-cylinder engine in the world, and you get with this Generation 2 car what appears to be much more neutral handling, which means on these passes it's not the lump and old things it used to be, and you get more drive to the rear, and it's a real hoot. It's a Sunday afternoon now, so these roads aren't as quiet as I'd like them to be, but you can still have a good bit of fun. So we're running on the passive suspension. We haven't got magnetic ride. It is actually quite comfortable. The Italian roads aren't brilliant. They're not much better than the English roads, and this one's a bit rutted, and it's okay. I think the downside of that is that you get quite a bit of slack in the suspension when you're on it, because you can't switch it into dynamic and make it harder. You know, that's a bit of the compromise they've made with the RS cars, because they don't want them to be too hard. So it's a very comfortable car, but you do pay for that to a degree, and I'd always spec, like I would always spec sports exhaust, I'd always spec dynamic ride on these cars. They just give you a much broader ability to the car, which when you're paying this kind of money for it, just an extra sort of £1,000 or so, is well worth doing. So, as I said, we've got drive selects with everything in dynamic apart from the steering, which is in comfort, and it feels good. In a dynamic mode, I tried it yesterday on some roads, and it was just so hard to place the car. It's not the narrowest of cars, and these aren't the widest of roads. The dynamic just made the car feel almost twice as wide. We've got standard steel brakes that haven't really given any cause for concern as yet, but there's always time for them to start to fade on a descent like this, which is quite tricky. So let's just pop it into third, second gear. We're going through a Galleria now. It's very hard to get the car to drive from the rear so much on a downhill stretch, because you can't use the power so much, but when you're coming up this hill you could really feel it driving from the back, which I've never felt in an RS3 before. It's really, you could really, when you get to know the car and know the road, you can have a lot of fun in this car on this kind of road. I've been driving this car now for 6 days. I picked it up on Monday from Munich. I've driven it up the Stelvio, I've driven up the Jaufen on the day I picked it up, and it felt fantastic there. What also is amazing is the sports exhaust. So I think this is probably about 1,200 quid, but it is money well spent with this car. So let's have a listen. That's first gear. Oh my god. Just listen to it. You know, this isn't just a fake sound. This car is throbbing with that 5-cylinder warble. It is just sensational. You've got to have it. I tried to record some external video, which I'll show you now actually, of the car going through tunnels. So it is a really, really tuneful car, this, and the sports exhaust just makes the most of it. You can't hear lots of pops and crackles in the car, but actually they do occur because I've managed to record them on the outside. It sounds really good. I think pops and crackles can get a bit tiring, and lots of people have sort of remap software that does them now, so it's not particularly cool anymore. But yeah, this is a really fun car, and the best bit is you can get it on the Autobahn. You can do 155 or possibly 174. I think this car, being an Audi's own car, has probably had the speed limiter deleted, which is a ridiculously expensive option, but there we go. Some people do want that if you're driving around in Germany on a regular basis. Right, let's try not to back it off this cliff and turn around. We've seen a Volkswagen go up there, but we should get a bit of a clear run. It's always a bit slow. Engage in reverse, which can be a bit hairy on these hills. Okay, let's go. Okay, so everything's set up. Should have a bit of a clear run now. So let's take the gearbox into manual, put it into manual on the shifter. Let's go to second. So it just fires at that exhaust. Engine braking, down to second. There's a bit of slack in its turning, but it's just because it's not the most hardcore car, and that isn't trying to be. It still feels great though. Amazing. Okay, so again, tunnel again, second gear. Even the motorbike had a bit of a game with us then as well, trying to sound louder than us, but I think he failed. So let's try and make this smooth now. So, ooh, that was an interesting bit of traction control there. These road surfaces are quite polished, I think, so there's not an awful lot of grip. So the bikers there, but we should be alright. Take it wide, look ahead. Yeah, second gear. And there's our Volkswagen up. Is it a cross-up? It's a cross-up. It's probably cross to look like that. With its silver bit, it's trying to look like a 4x4. I'd be cross if that happened to me. Actually, let's go for it. So it doesn't change up when you hit the rev limiter, so that's very interesting. So it's proper manual in that respect. No understeer. Can you see any understeer? I can't. Absolutely no understeer. So guys, you get the picture then. It's a really fun car. It's not the sharpest car in the box because it's not designed to be. It's meant to be comfortable at high speeds driving on the autobahns. But for the first time in an RS3 that I've driven, you can throw it around these mountain roads and it feels superb. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this Volkswagen video. If you have, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and see you for the next one. Oh, bella macchina, bella macchina. Hello guys, and welcome to this Volkswagen video. Now today I'm not testing a car, I'm actually testing a cable chair, which is a bit like a ski lift, but it's actually bloody hot here. It's about 30 degrees, and I can tell you the refinement is very good. The view is very good as well, and the ride quality is superb. The seats are a little bit uncomfortable, but then you're only on them for a couple of minutes, so that's fine. But enough talk of cable chairs. Let's go and drive the Viper Green Audi RS3 in the hills around Merano.